All right, let's talk about something that puts thousands of workers at risk every single year, whether you're working inside or out. We're talking about heat illness, and we're going to break down a super simple plan to help you prevent it.
First things first, you need to see this number, 75%. That is a huge number. And you know what it represents? It's the percentage of deaths from heat illness at work that happen in the very first week on a new job. That first week, man, it is without a doubt the most dangerous time.
So that begs the question, right? How in the world do you stay safe from a danger you might not even see coming? Well, we've got a plan for that. It's simple, and it breaks down into a few key parts. How you prepare, how you prevent, how you protect, and most importantly, how you respond.
So let's kick things off with part 1, prepare. And listen, this isn't about what you do when you're already sweating buckets in the middle of a heat wave. No, this is all about what you do before the really intense work even starts, to give your body a real fighting chance.
You know, there's a fancy word for this, acclimatization. But don't let the big word fool you. All it really means is letting your body get used to working in the heat. That's it. It's an actual physical change that happens, and believe me, you absolutely cannot rush it. So how do you do it safely? Easy. You follow something called the 20% rule. Think of it like this. On your first day, you only do about 20% of the normal workload. The next day, you bump it to 40%, and you just keep adding 20% each day. This slow, steady ramp-up it's absolutely crucial. It's what lets your body adapt without getting overwhelmed.
And hey, this isn't always a quick 5-day fix. For some of us, getting fully used to the heat can take 2 weeks, maybe even longer. Seriously. So the big takeaway here, you got to be patient with your body. You have to listen to it.
Okay, so you've eased into it, your body is getting prepared. But what about the day-to-day grind? How do you stay safe? Well, that brings us right to our next part, prevention. Think of these as your daily defense tactics. This checklist here, this should be your game plan every single day. And I want to point out a couple things. First, look at that water recommendation. A cup every 20 minutes. And here's the kicker. Drink it even if you aren't thirsty, because by the time you actually feel thirsty, you're already getting dehydrated. And that last point, the buddy system, that is so important. Looking out for your coworkers is just as critical as looking out for yourself. Look, if your brain is full and you can only remember 3 things from this entire explainer, please let it be these 3 words. Water, rest, shade. That little phrase right there, it can literally save a life. It is the absolute core of preventing heat illness.
Here's another super simple one that makes a huge difference. What you're wearing. I mean, it seems obvious, right? But it really matters. Light-colored, loose, breathable clothes, they let your body cool itself down. That heavy, dark stuff, it's like wearing an oven. It just traps all that heat in. It's a simple choice, but the impact is massive.
All right, but what if you do all that stuff and it's still not enough? What happens then? That's where our third section comes in, protect. This is all about learning to spot the warning signs, not just in yourself, but in the people you work with too. So you got to understand, heat illness isn't an on or off switch. It's more like a spectrum. And we're going to start with the early signs. Think of these as your body's alarm bells going off, screaming at you to stop what you're doing, cool down, and hydrate immediately. So if you or your buddy start feeling any of this stuff, a headache, feeling kind of weak or dizzy, sweating like crazy, that's heat exhaustion. And your reaction has to be instant. I mean, stop everything, get to a cool spot, drink water, and loosen up your clothes. This is your window. This is your chance to stop things from getting a whole lot worse.
Because if you ignore those warnings, things can escalate. And they can escalate fast. We're not talking about a warning sign anymore. We are talking about a full-blown, life-threatening medical emergency. We're talking about heat stroke. And these signs, they are not subtle. If someone is confused, slurring their words, having a seizure, or passes out, that is a massive red flag. They might even have hot, dry skin, which is a really bad sign. It means their body has actually stopped being able to cool itself down. This is not a wait-and-see situation. This is a call 911 right now situation, every single time. And that brings us to our last and honestly most important part, how to respond. Because in a moment of crisis,
Having a simple, clear plan that you don't have to think about, well, it can make all the difference.
Here it is, the plan. It's just 3 steps, and there's no room for hesitation. 1. Call 911 immediately. That is always the first thing you do. 2. While you're waiting for help, start cooling the person down right away. Use whatever you've got, water, ice, wet cloths, anything. And 3. Stay with them. You never, ever leave someone alone in a medical emergency.
And I'm going to say this again, because it is the single most important thing you need to walk away with today. When in doubt, call 911. Just make the call. Don't waste a second wondering if you're overreacting. You're not. Fast action is what saves lives. Period.
At the end of the day, you have a right to a safe place to work. But safety isn't just something in a rule book, right? It's on all of us. It's about protecting yourself, sure, but it's also about looking out for the people working right alongside you. Because being safe at work means watching out for each other.